So in the last class we have discussed the different access methods. So that access methods, it is also called as a file accessing methods. Okay, so there are three different methods. We have seen that one is the sequential access, and second one is the direct access, and third one is the other access method, which is known as the indexed sequential access method. So we know that file is a storage of the information storing in the secondary storage devices like any hard disk. So to access the information, so we have to, what are the different order or what is the methods we have to follow to access those information which is present in the file. Okay, so these are the three methods we are going to use to access the information which is present in the file. In that, first one is the sequential access method we have studied. So this is the simplest method. Sequential access method is the one of the simplest method we have studied. Here the name itself will going to indicate that access through the sequentially. So in the sequence manner we are going to access the information or access the data. So for example, if I am there will be 100 records are there in a file. So now the initial position is the first record. So now I am presenting at the 50th record. I need to access the information which is present in the 75th record. So for example, if consider the employee details, so in that 100 record, so at the 50th position name of the employee is present, and in the 75th position the email ID of the employee is present. I need to access that employee email ID. So from 50th position I am staying there. I need to access the 75th record. So I'm not directly able to access that email address from jumping from 50th record to 75th record, because the name itself indicates here it is a sequential access method. So you have to move from 51st to 74th record, then only you are able to access the information which is present in the 75th record. So the example for the sequential access method, it is like one of the best example. So one advantages in the sequential access, it is the simplest technique. So but the disadvantage is like it is not possible to access the record directly. That is a main disadvantage of the sequential access method. Whichever the record which we are required to access, we are not able to access that directly. So we have to move all the records, then only we are able to access the required information. This is the main disadvantage in the sequential access method. To overcome that sequential access method, whatever the disadvantage or what is the drawback we are facing there, we have moved the second access method, that is known as a direct access method. So by using this direct access method, in this technique we are going to access all the records directly. So for example, in the 75th record, the information is which is present as an email address I need to access, but now currently I am in the 50th record. So I can directly access the from 50th record to directly to the 75th record. So that is the main advantage we are going to see in the direct access method. So accessing the record randomly is the main advantage. So coming into the example for the direct access method, hard disk is one of the example, or it can be a magnetic disk. It can be an example for the direct access method. So coming to this simulation of the sequential access on a direct access. So how it will going to differ from the sequential access to the implementation of the direct access method. So here we are using the function known as a reset. So here we are going to call this reset function. Why we are calling this reset function? It moving the file from current position to the beginning of the file. So for example, now I am present in the 50th record. Okay, so if I need to move back, so in the previous diagram we have seen that there is, if I need to move back, that is an initial position, that is an initial point in the sequential access method, we are going to use this function known as a reset. Reset is a function which is going to call here moving the file from the current position. For example, I am presenting at the 50th position. If I need to move from 50th position to back, that is the beginning of the file, that way we are going to use this function known as a reset function. In the sequential access, we know that read next. So for example, if I am present in the 50th record, next I need to get the information which is present in the 75th record. I'm not able to directly jump, or I'm not able to directly access the information which is present in the 75th record. So what I need to do, I need to call the function read next. That is, it can move into the 51st record, and then write next. So if any information of, if any data, if it is required to update in the record, record, then you can use the function that is known as a write next. So this is the procedure we are going to follow in the sequential access method. Coming into this direct access method, here initially the CP is equals to 0. That is the current position. The current position is equals to 0 here. Okay, so initially read the current position. So I'm reading the current position value which is equals to 0. Then increment the current position value which is equal to CP plus 1. So 0 plus 1, it is going to increment it to 1. So now if we want to write or if you want to update the any data or update any information, then you can update in this by using the function known as a write current position, and that current position again it going to be incremented. Okay, so in this implementation of this direct access method, so if I'm present at the 50th record, I can directly access the information which is present in the 75th record. So that is, you can directly by using the current position value. Okay, so this is the direct access method, or it can be a relative access method. And the last method, that is the other access methods which you are going to use here, is that is the indexed sequential access method. So in this indexed sequential access method, here the other access methods, it can be built on the top of the direct access method. So to some of the disadvantages, if you overcome that by using the direct access method, we are using the index sequential access method. So for example, if you take that, there will be 5,000 records are there. If I need only the particular record like 1 to 5,000 record, I need some of the 3,500 record. It is very difficult for a user to access the 3,500 record which is present in the huge amount of record. To search that, to accept that record which is present in the middle of the file, we are going to use the method that is the index sequential access method. So in this index sequential access method, so this first one, it is known as a, it contains the record and as well as the pointer. So here the records which will present from 0 to 5,000. Okay, 0 to 5,000 records which is present in the file here. So here if I need to access the file, for example, I need to access only the 3,575th record I need to access here. So it is not easy that directly I can access this 3,578th record. So what is the method I can follow here? Here it contains the one is the record and second one is the pointer. So first I will going to search in this record. So either the value is present in between the 3,000 to the 4,000. If you may look into this record, here at this particular point, the value it may present between 3,000 to 4,000. So that value, it can be pointed to the secondary index. So this is the primary index and it is the secondary index. So in the secondary index, so it will contain the only the 100 records. So for example, if may contain this 3,000 to 4,000, in the secondary index it contains from 3,000 to 3,100 record and from 3,100 to 3,200 record. So up to so on like 4,000. So in this secondary index, it contains only the 100 minimum 100 number of records which is present in the each block. If may look here 3,000 to 4,000, it may points to this particular value. Here the 3,500 to 3,600. So whatever the value we have required in here, it may present in between these two secondary index value. Again in the secondary index value, the first column it is known as a record and the second column there will be known as a pointer. That pointer again it may going to link to the one more device. It may going to link into the another physical memory. So here in between the 3,500 to 3,600, so whatever the value we are required, it can be present in this secondary storage device. Okay, so this is the way how we are going to access the records by using the indexed sequential access method. Okay, so here for example, if we take the like some retail price file, or it may take you the universal product code. So if you want to, each record it may consisting of the 10 digits of UPS and the 6 digits of the price and 16 byte record. Okay, so if your disk has the 1024 bytes per block, then we can store the 64 records per block. So if a file it may contains 1,20,000 of the records, then it's very difficult for the user user to accept or to access the particular record which is present in the huge amount of the record. So here it is in a one of this example here. If we take on this one example here, it is the index to the relative file. So this first table it is known as a index file, and the second table it is known as a real file. So here it contains the two different column. First is the lost name and second one is the logical record number. So the record number which is present in the second column. If you look into this lost name, here there will be names are present. So and it is a relative file. So here Smith is the lost name. So it can point into this relative file. Wherever the Smith, that is the name which is present in this relative file, so it can directly access that particular character, or it can directly access the information which is present in this particular block. Okay, so this is how we are going to make a mapping between the indexed sequential access to get the information which is present in the huge amount of records. So this completes the different access methods. So like sequential access method, direct access method, and as well as the other access method which is known as a indexed sequential access method. Okay, so the next topic we'll see that is a directory and disk structure. Yes, you have any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
The next topic is the directory and disk structure. Next is the directory and disk structure. So we might know that what is the definition for the directory. Can anyone tell what is directory? So what is directory? So here these directories are used to organize the files. Okay, so if in your system it may contains from 1 to 5 different files are present in your system. Okay, so to organize these files, okay, so let me take F1, F2 and F3 and F4. Okay, so these are the different files which is present in your system. To organize these files, okay, so directories are used to organize these files. So this directory it is also known as a collection of files. A directory it may contains the subdirectory. So we know that if it is a file and it may contain some subfiles. So again, if we take the directory, so a directory it may contains the subdirectories. Okay, so for example, if you consider one folder, so like operating system is one folder I am created here. So inside that operating system, I am included the different module nodes like module 1, module 2 and the module 3 as a separate directory. So again, inside that module 1, I may include the separate PPT and separate PDF notes and as well as the assignment questions. So here it is a file. Inside that file, there will be a subdirectory. So if you consider this is as a file, again there will be some of the present directories which is present to this particular main thing. Okay, so this is what directory. So a directory it can be divided into subdirectory, and files it may be divided into different sub file directory. So here a directories which contain the subdirectory, and also the directory it can store the files and also the attributes of the file. So what are the different attributes of the files? Yes, what are the different attributes of the file?
Name, location, size.
Yes, name, file, size, then
Location, type.
yes, location, type,
Size.
time, date, and as well as the user modifies. Okay, so these are the different attributes of the file. So in this directory it also contains, so for example, if I take this module 1 ppt, so this particular module 1 ppt, it has its own size. So it has its own size, and also it has its own location, where it has been stored in your system, and it has also the last modification time and who's created this file. Okay, so these are the some of the attribute information which is present along with this directory. So here in this directory under disk structure, we are going to study the 4 different types of the directory. So make a note of this 4 types of directories. There will be 4 types of directory. So first one is the single level directory. First one is single level directory, and second one is 2 level directory, and third one is tree structured directory, and last one is acyclic graph directory. Okay, so we know that what is the definition for the directory. Directories are used to organize the files. So these directory, it contains the subdirectory inter, and again these will also going to store the files like, and also the attributes of the file. There will be 4 different types of the directories are there. First is the single level directory, 2 level directory, tree structured directory, and last one is the acyclic graph directory. So we'll see one by one. First one is the single level directory. So in the single level directory, here the name itself indicates that there will be a single level directory. So here all the users of the system use only the one directory. So let me draw a diagram for that. So let me take this here. So here we are using the square. So square, it can be represented here to mention the directory. So for this directory, it is a directory. So we are going to identify the directory by using the square symbol. And next, for that directory, there will be a files like subdirectories are there. So like file 1, file 2, and as well as the file 3. Okay, so these 3 are the different files here. So the directory, it can be represented by using the square, and here the different files. So this different files, it can be represented by using the circle here. Okay, so in the single level directory, there will be only one directory. Okay, so all the users of the system. So for example, here there will be a user 1 to user 5. Okay, so 5 different users are using this particular system. So these all the user has to use the same directory here. There is no any other option to use any other directories, because only the one directory which is present in the system here. So we have using the directory to represent the square, and we are going to represent the file by using the circle here. So one main advantage of the single level directory, it is very easy to implement. So by looking this diagram, it is very easy to implement. There is only one directory and there will be files like subdirectories. So sub files are present. So but there will be a disadvantage which going to we are faced in the single level directory. So the first disadvantage is nothing but the naming problem. So what is the main advantage of the simple level directory? It is simple to implement. It is very simple to implement. So coming to the advantage, naming problem is one disadvantage, and grouping problem. Right? Grouping problem is one of the disadvantage. So what is this naming problem? So multiple users give the same file name. So because here only the one directory are there, here user 1, user 2. So user 1 is also giving the same file name. So for example, user 1 is also given the name like sample.txt. So and again user 2, it is also giving the same file name like sample.txt. Okay, so then what happened here, the overwritten will going to takes place because there is no directories are present here. So user one has created already by using the text named as a sample.txt. Again user 2, he may doesn't know that what is the user 1 has created. Again he has created the same file name like sample.txt. Then what will happen here, so this data whatever he has created the data, so that data it can be overwritten the data which is created by the user 1. So it will going to take place, the replacing of the data can takes place here, then the complete information can be overridden here. Okay, so that is the one of the disadvantage, that is a naming problem. So coming to this grouping problem, so if I need to store all the C programs in one directory, so for example in this grouping problem I need to store all the C programs. If I need to store all the C programs and all the C++ programs in one directory, all C programs in one directory, if all the Java programs in one directory. Okay, so that is not possible by all the directories needs to be stored in only the one directory. So to access the programs in one directory like C which is present in one directory and C++ programs which is present in one more directory. So it is a good method. If I store like with dividing this method, it is easy to access. But what is the disadvantage here? It is only the single directory. I'm not possible to make the separate directories for all these things. Okay, so that is a one disadvantage in case of the single level directory. So one is the naming problem. Here we are going to face the overridden of the data, and second one is the grouping problem. So if I go to make it as a single directory, it is not possible here because it consisting of only the one directory. Okay, so here what is the disadvantages we are facing here, grouping problem. To overcome this problem, to overcome that problem, we are going towards the two level directory. Okay, so due to some of the disadvantages and due to some of the problems which is facing in this single level directory, we are moved towards the two level directory. So in this two level directory, we can easily overcome the problems of the single level directory. Why? Because here the separate directory for the each user. So here the separate directory for the each user is created. So for example, take A. A is the root directory here. Let me take A. A is a root directory, and for that A again there will be a user directory. So let me take that as a B, C and as well as the D. Okay, so here it is an one more directory. So here this stage we are going to call it is a level 0, and one more stage which is created here, it is going to call it is a level 1. So for example here A, it is a root directory, and again the different directories like user directories which is present below this root directory. Here level 0 we are presenting the A, that is a root directory, and level 1 we are presenting the different user directory. So here if user 1 is created, there will be different files like F1 is one file and F2 which is the one more sub file for this B directory, and if you may take the C directory, F3 is the one more file and F4 is one file, and if you take the D there will be a F5 and the F6. So here to overcome the problem like the grouping problem, we have moved towards the two level directory. In this two level directory we can create the more than one directory. So that is root directory and as well as the user directory. So the first directory we are commonly called as a root directory. So below that root directory we have created the user directory. The first level we are going to call it is a level 0, and the second level we are going to call it is a level 1. So the sub files which is connected to this user directory. Here user 1 created a directory known as a B here. So here user 1 which is created a directory that is known as a B directory. Okay, so and Here F3 is the file of the B directory. So if we take this F2, so F2 is a file for the B directory and F3 is a file for the C directory and F5 is the file for the D directory and as well as the A directory. If we take that F3, it is a file which is present below the C directory. In turn again it is present below the A directory. If I take this F2, F2 is present here. So if you have taken this two level directory, here F1 is the file which is present below the B directory, that is the user directory, and again this B which is present below the A directory. Okay, so advantage of this two level directory, it can have the same file for the different user. So here giving the same file name is going to making one of the disadvantage here. But coming to this two level directory, it can have the same file name. So for example, because F1 has the same file name because it is present under the B directory, you may give that s.txt. The same like s.txt you may give because that particular file F4 file which is present below the C directory. Okay, so then the overridden cannot be taken place in case of the two level directory. And one more advantage of this two level directory is an efficient searching. One more advantage is an efficient searching. So why? Because it is an efficient searching. So because there will be different levels are there. So if there will be different levels are present, then it is easy for the user to search the file which is present in the two level directory. And also we are going to face the disadvantage like grouping problem. Again we are going to face the grouping problem here. So if I need to store the 100 files inside a directory, then all the 100 files need to be gotten by the storage. So for example, here also we are going to face the problem like grouping problem. So in this two level also we are going to face the grouping problem. So because if I need to store the 100 different records, 100 records if I need to store in a directory, so it is difficulty for the user to divide the two files, to divide the directory and make allocated to this different levels like level 0 and level 1. So still we are facing the disadvantage like grouping problem. So to overcome that, again we have moved the one more structure that is known as a tree structure directory. So to overcome the problem which is a grouping problem in the two level directory, we have moved the third level that is known as a tree structure, that is known as a tree structure directory. Okay, so in this tree structure directory, so here we know that what is the tree here? Tree is a collection of all the nodes. So tree is a collection of all nodes. Okay, so here more than two levels can be taken here. So in the previously we have taken only the two level directory. So here the name itself indicates it is a tree structure directory. So that's why we can create the more than two levels. More than two levels can be created here. So let me take the diagram like A is a one directory, like B, C, and as well as the D. So this we are going to call it as a level 0. If you take B, C, D, that is a level 1. If you take this B, file 1, and again for the C directory there will be a present of E and F. It can be represented by using the square, and the files can be represented by using the circle. So this level 1 is a user directory, and it is a level 2 is subdirectories. Okay, so here the first which is known as a root, that is a level 0, and the second that is a user directory, and third one is a level 3, again that is a subdirectory. Again also you can create the one more level, that is the level 3. So again it will be a subdirectory to this level 2. So in this tree structure directory we can create the more than 2 levels. So more than 2 level directories it can be created here. So here we can create the n number of subdirectories. Okay, so why? Because here A is represented the directory by using the square. It consisting of the 3 different, again the directories like B, C, D. When you see into this particular directory, that is a B directory, it contains the file F1. So now the file F1 which is present under the B directory, and again which is present under the A directory. So if you may take that F2 as a file, it is present in the E directory, and again in turn it is present under the C directory, and again it is present under the directory known as a here. Okay, so this is how the tree structure can take place. In this, one advantage of this, it is an efficient searching. So due to this, the presence of the different levels, it is easy to search. So it is very efficient manner. In the efficient manner, we can going to search our files. So where the file is present here. So if I need to search my file, so then I no need to look into all these directories. So directly I can look into the G. So this is the parent for this F4, and coming to the G, D is the parent for the G. And coming to this D, here A is the parent for the D. Okay, so in this manner, in this efficient manner, we are going to search whichever the file which is required in this tree structure directory, and it has the grouping capability. So we can easily make a group in this tree structure directory. So that is the main advantage of this TSD directory. And there will be some of the disadvantage in this here. If you want to share the information among the different directories, so it is not possible because it does not contain the any cycle. So if you may look into the tree structure directory, so here if I need to share the information like file among the different directories. So for example, the file which is present in this B, I need to share some of the information to this some more directory like F2. Okay, so here it is not possible. Like if I need to share the information from the file which is present here, I need to share the same information to the F3. It is not possible here because it is a tree structure. So in this tree structure, it does not contain any of the cycle. There is no cycle. Okay, so there is no cycle which is present in the tree structure directory, but the graph will going to contain the cycle. Okay, so the graph, it may contain the cycle, but there is no cycle which is present in the tree structure directory. Here the graph or the cycle which is required here to make or to transfer a information or data from one directory to the another directory. So that is the problem we have facing here in this tree structure directory. So to overcome that problem, again we are moved the last approach, that is known as a acyclic graph directory. That approach known as a acyclic graph directory. So in this acyclic graph directory, mainly it is used for to share the file among the different directories. So one major advantage and one major application of this acyclic graph directory, it is mainly used to share the information, share the file among the different directories. So let me write a diagram for that. A is the root directory. Under that root directory, there will be a B, C, and as well as the D are present. So below that B, there will be one more subdirectory like files, and again to the C, there will be one more directory E, and F2 is the file here, and the same file it can be accessed by the directory that is known as a D directory, and F3 is one more file. If you take this E, so it is in a square directory, and like F4 is the one more file, and F5 is the one more file here. So here in this acyclic graph directory, why we are using this acyclic graph directory, it is mainly used for share the information, share the file among the different directories. So because in case of the tree structure directory, we are not able to share the file among the different directories. Okay, so to share that among the different directories, we have using the acyclic graph directory. So in this acyclic graph directory, there will be a root node known as a directory. So below that A directory, B, C, D are the three different directories are present. F1 is the subfile which is present below the B. When you look into this F2 file, it can be accessed by both the C directory and as well as the D directory. So the file, the information, now it can be shared between the C directory and also followed by the D directory. Okay, so this is the cycle. So the cycle can be happen in case of the acyclic graph directory. So in the tree there is no cycle is present, in the graph there will be a cycle is present. Okay, so this about the different disk and the directory structures.